Welcome to Penny for Our Thoughts podcast, where you can get a third-party opinion on your worries, concerns, or problems you may have in your life. Don't keep it to yourself. Give some to us. My name's Gerald.
And my name is John, and we are your hosts for Penny for Our Thoughts.
This week we have 3 concerns from 3 anonymous people, and John has no idea what I'm about to throw at him. But just as a little bit of a spoiler alert, it's a little tamer. It's not as juicy as the past couple of weeks.
Oh, really?
I think it's still worth talking about for sure. So why don't we just jump right in?
All right, let's go.
Okay, let's start from the submission from Muddy River State. And he says, I scare people, but I don't want to. Hey guys, so as the title says, I scare people, but I don't mean to. I'm buff. I'm not buff. I'm only 6 feet tall, male, but I am overweight. Most people I meet say they are automatically intimidated by me. One of my coworkers once told me over a group conversation about fights we had in high school and such growing up that I looked like the kind of person that would get mean with someone quick. I had someone on a whole different crew who has never met me tell me I looked like I was going to beat someone just because of how I walk. I'm engaged and I've talked to people. I've talked about this to my fiance, but she doesn't know how to help. I've tried making friends over the years, but I keep getting ghosted after the first conversation. I work 10 to 12 hours a day for weeks at a time, 7 days a week. And when your life consists of nothing but work and sleep, it doesn't leave a lot of time for social skills. Does anyone have advice? It really makes for a sad existence.
I mean, I'm assuming you're a big dude. I mean, you might not be buff, but you said you were a little overweight.
He's at overweight and 6 feet tall.
Yeah, I think the big first thing I would do is wear colorful, more bright clothing.
Yeah.
Right. I think as people might not admit it, I think colors will transmit a lot of like subconscious like feelings to other people. Like red is mad or whatever. I think if you wear more brighter colors, like maybe like not pink, but like salmon colors or even white, yellow. Right? I think yellow represents like happiness. Right. I think that will, transmit the right idea that you're trying to go for. And I think it's more in your demeanor, probably, right? The way you talk to someone, the way you like are, let's say you're listening to someone and the way you're just even focusing on what the other person's saying, you might be putting on a, resting B-word face for all we know, right? But I think color is the big thing, and then smile more. I think everybody, it's just a universal language in the world. If you don't speak that language, but if you smile, it tells the other person that you're probably a friendly person and not like a, meanie, like you were saying you are. Other than that, I can't think of anything else. What about you, Joe?
Yeah, I feel like you kind of hit the nail on the head because all of his posts, all of his concerns are based on first impressions, right? Like he can't get close because the first impression of him is mean. And like you said, the first thing people are going to notice if you're wearing bright colors, oh, that guy's wearing a really bright orange shirt. I wonder what he's about. Or if you find yourself in a conversation, like I don't know how he acts. He doesn't say how he acts in a conversation, but like you said, like really act like you're engaged, you're smiling, you're listening. But the problem is if he doesn't get there, he can't show off his actual personality that he's not actually scary. That's
I mean, he met his fiance, right? I mean, you should ask what like your like the first impression that your fiance thought of you.
Yeah.
Right. Because clearly you're almost getting married here soon. So she obviously looked past your, first impression demeanor.
Yeah.
And then look beyond that, maybe like scariness that people think. Right. And ask her what, made her fall in love with you and eventually get to know you more. And then maybe that there's a barrier there that you didn't know about. And then she does. Maybe it's been a long time you guys been dating, so maybe she doesn't remember it. But there's if you just ask someone, I'm sure they'll tell you.
A big thing you can do if you have a good sense of humor is play into it. If you're like, oh, it's a scare guy, you go stomp around like the Hulk or whatever. Like let yourself shine through. Of course, if it's part of who you are. Like there's some people who are just reserved. If he's scary looking and he's reserved, doesn't talk to anyone, that's like that kind of adds up to it. But if you're frustrated because you can't express your what's a good word for that? You're being outgoing, like you can't express it because people don't come near you. Just like I don't even know how you would do that. If people automatically like shy away from you, maybe try to find a group. He already said it was hard to socialize, but try to find a group that you have similar interests with, similar, sense of humor, and kind of like spread the word of how cool quote unquote you are, and not scary. Because then if you're comfortable with a group of people already, they're gonna get to know you, and then they're gonna be like, "Yo, he's not scary. What are you talking about? He's the nicest guy in the world."
Yeah, and then I'm sure that you have your silly side too, right?
Yeah,
Make
exactly.
jokes like even stupid dad jokes. I mean, you're gonna get married. Maybe you want to be a dad. Make stupid dad jokes. Start practicing now, right?
Yeah.
Once those silly things come out, I think then people realize that, oh, this guy's just silly. Like he's not mad. Like he's not mean. He's not mean. He doesn't look mad. Like he doesn't look like he's gonna beat me up or whatever.
I think that's one of the things that saved me in junior high and high school, because I was pretty overweight junior high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was always like, my sense of humor, I always let it take over in conversation. So they'd just be like, "Oh, he's like the jolly green giant," because my favorite color was green in junior high. I was wearing a green hoodie. Like, "Oh, it was green Gerald."
Yeah, honestly, I think
if you have a good sense of humor, it's gonna be easier to convince people that you're not mean. I think it's like showing yourself and those bright colors,
mm-hmm.
and smiling outwardly.
You obviously, like your wife, or sorry, your fiance obviously look past that, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think you are worrying about it, and I think it's, you brought the concern up, and I see that your worries on it, but like you found the love of your life beyond that. So it's not impossible. Just keep your hopes up, right? Be more happy about it. Don't look down, because I think if you go with the mentality of meeting new people and saying that, oh, I have a feeling that these people won't like look past it, so then you actually just start getting a little sad or like upset about it, that's going to transfer through.
Yeah.
Right. So don't let your mentality saying, okay, I can't meet friends because I look mean, I have a resting, B-word face, but just be like, hey, you know what? Maybe these guys will be my lifelong friends. Have that mentality every single time you meet someone, so the other stuff doesn't leak through, because a lot of people can look like beyond what they're saying and stuff, like their first impressions and stuff. And if you are being a happy, jolly man, giant, whatever, I'm sure they'll be like, oh, this guy's not actually that bad.
Yeah.
Right.
And one thing he did mention is that he doesn't have much time to work on stuff outside of work.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see that being draining. So then he might not have enough energy to impart in social situations, social skills, where he goes in with a group of people being like super low on energy. People can sense that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that could be one of the things contributing to people seeing him as like a reserved kind of like mean guy, because he's not outwardly, trying to socialize. So I don't know how much of an option it is to cut back a little bit on work and have a little bit more of your own life, work on stuff that you like to do. But I feel like, especially doing stuff that you like to do, getting good at stuff that you like, it'll build the confidence, build self-esteem, build whatever, some positive vibes in general.
Did he happen to mention he had like facial hair by any chance? Like a beard or something?
I don't think he mentioned it.
If I've definitely felt like facial hair will make a big first impression, because when you look at someone, so true. Maybe if you have a big grown beard, right? Maybe you look more intimidating.
Yeah.
So if you're okay with shaving completely off, and your fiance is okay with like shaving off or trimming it or cutting it, that might be an option. Even your hair, right? Depending on what your hairstyle is like. Like even when I was in university, I've always had short hair. I always put my hair up, having that clean look. And there's been people in my classmates who are like, dude, I thought you were like a business student, like all just straight to the point, like just get the grades and leave. But then once they got to know me, they're like, dude, you're like the complete opposite of that. You just do it because you just look clean. It's like, yeah. So hair could be a thing. Facial hair could be. So I would try, if you were okay with it and your fiance is okay with it, is just kind of, play with your style a little bit more.
Changing up the style.
Because if you do look mean wearing black and having this big scruffy beard and stuff, yeah, you're going to look intimidating. And you're a tall dude, right? And you did mention you're a little bit overweight, so you're probably just a bigger, wider dude than the average male.
Yeah.
So these small things, in itself is probably not a big thing, but they all add up in the long run. Yeah. So then you look less intimidating.
Yeah.
I think that's the big goal that you're looking to go for anyway. And we mentioned this on our previous episodes, right? You can always make friends online, right? And then at this point, if you show yourself online without them actually physically seeing you, they'll obviously have a different judgment on you.
Yeah, because it sounds like everything that he's worried about is physical appearance.
Yeah.
Meeting people physically.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you get to know people online, you don't have to worry about the physical. They get to know you through how you talk, what you talk about, as opposed to your big, intimidating quote unquote self.
And, maybe after that online incident, you meet up in person, then they might be like, oh man, I didn't expect this.
Yeah.
And then that could be another talking point, right? And just be like, hey, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what to say at this point, but just be a talking point. It's like, oh yeah, I didn't expect that you look like this. I think you'd be more like, I guess shorter, thinner, or whatever. But don't beat yourself up, right?
No. Because that definitely shows is if you're going into an interaction already worried about how you come across, it shows.
Mm-hmm.
It's very clear.
Yeah, and you work what? You said 10 to 12 hours a day?
7 days a week for weeks at a time.
So then, you probably can be online doing some things just to relax from work and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you're engaged, so it shouldn't be said, but just make male friends. I'm sure like your fiance is not gonna appreciate you making female friends. I mean, we don't know. It's just me. If as my significant other is like, oh yeah, you can make friends online, but I'm sure she won't appreciate me making female friends over male friends, right? That's just my 2 cents. But again, maybe your fiance is cool and she doesn't care. But yeah, big thing is small changes: color of clothing, facial hair, smiling, right? Making jokes, being silly, being the silly you that your fiance fell in love with. Yeah, I'm sure they will go fine. And online is the big one, right?
And I think once you build rapport with a group, it's a lot easier to quote unquote convince people. Like, they're gonna spread the words like, hey, this guy's not mean. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that covers that. Yeah.
I think so.
Awesome.
Move on to our next one. This one is from TK Fire.
TK Fire.
TK Fire.
Okay.
What is the best side hustle? I'm trying to get out of an unhappy and unhealthy situation, but I need money. My job has been cutting everyone's hours and doesn't pay enough. I'm an artist, but it's hard to get that rolling for money, especially when there's so many artists out there, and I don't know if I should invest because I'm worried it might flop. What if I take money out of my savings to try this for nothing? Anyone have a good side hustle to suggest or any advice?
Side hustle, that one's more of a harder one because there's some people that do side hustles that they don't particularly enjoy, but they just enjoy making an extra income. Yeah. And it feels like from your concern, TK Fire, you want to replace your main source of income with the side hustle.
That's what it sounds like to me too.
Yeah. If that's the case, really try to find what you enjoy.
Yep.
Right. It will start as anything you do will always start as a side hustle and then eventually lead into your full-time thing. So for example, YouTube is a big one that a lot of people started. Yeah. If you start YouTube and you like making videos, and especially you said you like making art, let's say you start filming some things you do with art, like you do like a time lapse of your art piece, right? And then start gradually doing that. You're doing what you love and what you study for, which is art, and now you're doing YouTube on the side. Big thing is about the side hustle is don't get discouraged. If it's something like that, like YouTube, if it's streaming or anything like that, don't get like sides, like so don't get upset that you're not progressing as fast as you want to, because more often than not it's probably not going to progress as fast as you want to. But that side hustle should be something you enjoy so you could do it for a long time. I don't know, you said your main job has to do with art. Yeah, it's probably not the easiest to make a big income or whatever in that field. I think you said that he's in the
I'm an artist. It doesn't say what his or her job is, but he or she says that they're an artist. I don't know if that means that for their main work is art. Bottom line, they're not happy with their job. They're like main income.
You can always freelance your art too. That's similar to your main job, but you're just doing it as a side hustle. And maybe eventually you'll make enough money freelancing that it will take over. Like there's Fiverr. What else is there? Yeah,
that's a big. There's Fiverr. If you get some sort of following, there's Patreon, right?
Yeah, Patreon's another one.
The big thing about a side hustle, it's in the title, hustle.
Yeah.
You got to hustle. You're wearing all of the hats. There's no like 9 to 5 with a side hustle. And it's going to be very, very slow in the beginning. And if you're lucky, once you catch fire, once you catch momentum, it'll grow exponentially. So that's something you have to prepare for if you're successful. Hopefully you're successful. But the biggest thing to take away from it is in the very beginning for the first, well, it's going to vary, but if you're successful within the first couple of months to the first couple of years, you're going to have to grind. You're going to have that full-time job if you want to live on top of trying to grow your side hustle, right?
Yeah.
So depending on the kind of person you are, you might be more unhappy in these first couple of months because you're going to be working your butt off, right? You have to do the full-time. And if you're really committing to the side hustle, that's almost another full-time job. You're not going to have much time to do much socializing, having fun, and hopefully you're having fun doing your side hustle, right?
Yeah. That's kind of the main point, right?
Yeah.
You got to enjoy your side hustle. Therefore, when you're hustling, working your 9 to 5 and doing that like on the, in the evening or before work, whatever, you're going to have to enjoy that. If you don't enjoy that, I guarantee you it's not going to go very far.
It's not going to keep going. And in the very beginning, you're going to be very passionate. If, again, assuming it's something that you like doing. And that is the most common phase within the first couple weeks to couple months that you're going to burn out. So while the fire's hot, you got to make sure you pace yourself, that you can continue doing it for years and years and years, right? Because ideally you can grow your side hustle to a point where its income matches your main income and you can just ditch your job. But until you get there, it's going to be an upward climb.
And like I said, like Gerald said, that could be 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, if everything works out really well in your favor. But that could also be like 2 years, 4 years, 6 years to get up there.
Yeah.
And like I said, like Gerald and I say, if you don't like it, you're going to get burnt out. You don't want to do anything. Yeah. Side hustle. I mean, you obviously don't like your job now. It's you're not going to want either or. And just because it's a side hustle and you did grow it and it becomes like income equal to your main income doesn't mean you just have to ditch your your original job. You can make double the income you did, right? Yeah. So, and maybe you'll find happiness in that. Even if you don't like the actual physical job, you're like, hey, I make double what I made a year ago. Yeah. That makes me happy. And something we didn't touch is that you want the side hustle to grow. And I don't know if they mentioned any age on there. There's nothing wrong with you going back to school and doing whatever you want to do and pursue a different, to a career in a different field. There's nothing wrong with that.
If you have the funds, if you have the ability to get the tuition money, then yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's student loans for a reason, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's so many things that's available to you probably that you can do other things, right? Like I got a degree in something I don't really need for my job now, but I got it anyway.
It helped you.
Yeah, it helped me definitely. But, did I need it for my job? No, I don't need it for my job, but I got it anyway.
Yeah.
Right. And then, Gerald, like you went to school for multiple different things, right?
I went to school twice. And granted, I don't think I really am using them, but that's another point altogether. Regardless, the point is school, if that's something you like, it's not, there's no like brick wall you have to tear down to go to school.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you really want it, there's student loans, there's bursaries. If you did well in high school, whatever, you can get more scholarships. But in terms of like going back a little closer to the original question, it doesn't really mention what TK Fire is skilled at. So I can't really suggest any specific side hustles. But I think a lot of side hustles can grow by paying attention to trends. What do people need? And depending who you want your customer base to be. I know one thing, like videographers, photographers, they make a lot of money on corporate stuff because it's consistent.
Yeah.
They make a lot of money on, like if you're good at marketing yourself on social media, you can be an influencer. There's a lot of things you can do depending on what your abilities are, your personality. Big thing these days is YouTube. You mentioned before, YouTube is very personality driven. So if you're good in front of a camera, you can vlog like that. I feel like that era might be over at this point. Like it's moved on to like TikTok and whatnot. So if you want to move on to like personality driven vlogs and videos, there's ways to grow a following. But again, I don't know what you're good at So it's hard to suggest any specific.
Yeah, because artists nowadays could mean like what? Modern art, like actual paintings. It could mean like you're a singer.
Yeah. Artist could mean very many things.
It literally could mean anything. So like if you told us that you were a singer, then we could just suggest these couple of things. If like even for singers and like musicians especially, like I think YouTube is definitely one, but even streaming, like I
was
saw
gonna say.
one person I actually do like watch person. Like she's a famous pianist, and she just takes she'll take requests in either by donation or like by like subbing to or whatever it is, and then she just plays it on stream.
Is that the blonde girl? Can't remember her name.
No, she's not blonde.
Anyway,
I think she's like brunette. But like those ways, right? But I mean, I can't suggest that if you are like a like a different artist,
graphic designer.
That's not gonna work, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can stream how to make a graphic design, but it's just different. I would say that that's more for YouTube, and like I would say find people in YouTube or those people that want graphic designs for their channel or for their needs. But it's really hard to suggest like a pinpoint thing, like Gerald said.
Yeah,
because it could mean so many things.
Also, reach out to a person, an expert in the field that you want to go into. If you know what you want to go into, is reach out to like they have Instagram, right? You can always message them on Instagram. You could, you can pop into a Twitch stream that, like whoever, there's lots of drawing art Twitch streams. If that's what you're into, musician, like you said, ask for advice. Some of them might think you're annoying. Some of them might, just ignore you, but if you just shotgun requests out there, someone will reply to you, and someone will be willing to mentor you a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some nice people out there. So I mean, but don't get upset that they're just rejected you. They're probably busy in their own thing, and you have to respect that.
Yeah.
So
that's a huge thing when you're coming with a side hustle, is just don't get discouraged. Don't get upset that it's not working out, because it's going to not work out a lot, right? You're going to fail more than you succeed.
Yeah. And, you said you don't like your job. And again, I don't think we know the specifics of what you don't like about your job. I think you should figure that out first, right? Then you might be able to mitigate that. It could be something that you could control, right? Like some people don't like their job because the people that you're working with. Yep. Right? And maybe you could just ask, hey, can I get transferred to a different department in your company? Or just be like, hey, I just don't want to work with this guy or whatever. Or like, obviously don't be that mean, but
depending on how understanding your manager, your boss is, like you tell them you're unhappy. Yeah. Depending on what kind of company you're in.
And, until the side hustle goes really well, think of the positives of your job. There's always going to be bound to be one. You can't, I've yet to meet someone that just outright hates their job, like 100%. Yeah. They're like, I hate how the times, I hate the people, I hate like what I have to do. Like there's no way there's something you just hate, because you would have never taken that job in the first place if you're like, I think I'm going to hate 100% of this job, but I'll just take it for the money. Maybe money is something you like, right? Yeah. So just think about that instead of like thinking about the negatives of your job. Think about the positives. Because again, if you keep thinking of negatives and then your side hustle is going to take a long time to develop, you're going to hate doing what you're doing. Yeah. So think of the positives when you're working, and then obviously find your side hustle that you like doing, whatever that might be.
I think that's wraps it up nicely.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Sweet.
Don't burn out, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Honestly, like if you burn out, I think that's the worst thing you could possibly do.
Yeah. Work a little too hard one day, and then the next day, you don't want to work on it anymore. Then you're screwed on both ends. You're burning the candle at both ends. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to our third and final topic. This one's from Miss Sky's the Limit. I think I said that correctly. How do you remain cordial with someone you hate? My roommate is an extrovert and an open person, while I am an introvert and private person. They always make snarky comments about what I do, my love life, and ask about medical stuff, which makes me uncomfortable. There are so many other things this person does that annoys the hell out of me, but I'll keep it to this. I finally confront them, telling them that their comments make me uncomfortable, and they get offended. Instead of apologizing, they say I need to go to therapy. That was the last straw for me. Things have been heated, and they're still trying to talk to me. I'm perfectly okay with acknowledgments. Hi, bye. But I don't want anything more than that.
Honestly, I'm the opposite of you, dude. Like or lady, whoever this person is, like if I don't like that person, I just cut them off. Straight up. That's just how I work. Because I don't need that negativity in my life. And even being cordial, like you said, saying hi, bye, that takes energy. It takes effort.
Sure does. Especially for an introvert.
Yeah. So just cut that off. Like that's what I would do. Right. There's been a bunch of people in my life that were like really close friends. And I'm like, no, you're dead to me now. Because realistically, you're just costing more effort than I need to, and I don't like giving you that effort, right? If it's like Gerald or David or whoever one of my best friends are, I would love to help them or whatever. But if these people are actually bringing you down, and the negativity that they're giving to you is bringing you down, and like you said, it's the last straw at that point, dude, just get rid of that.
Find another roommate. If you have the financial ability to go get a place of your own, do that. Because introvert, you like being alone.
Yeah.
I know what that's like.
Yeah.
Like, I have an empty house to myself. I'm the happiest man in the world. You know what I mean? But like, if you're able to, just get a new roommate. There's not enough time in your life to put up with toxicity like that. Like, if they're telling you that you need to go to therapy, like, I don't know how close they are to their roommate, but that's crossing a boundary to me. Like, who are you? Like, you know?
Even I wouldn't even tell my friends that. Like,
exactly.
And then
right?
they're not even friends.
Yeah.
They're just acquaintances that have to live together just because of the situation, right? What if they take that? Like Gerald said, if you can financially get out and move, then move. I mean, maybe you're signed onto a lease for a couple more months, but yeah, you have to suck it up for a couple more months. But once it's done, like, you don't need them in your life. It's not making a positive impact in your life, and if that's the case, get rid of them.
Yep. I mean, if you're contractually bound, I guess there's nothing much you can do. You can't really like move out.
Unless you're rich, you just pay off the lease and just be like,
yeah, man,
bye.
I feel like they don't. If that was the case, they wouldn't be asking this question.
Yeah.
But no, you just, if you have to suck it up for a couple more months, find every reason to leave the house or the apartment, whatever. Hang out with people that you do like, because then in the long run, this sort of behavior from someone you spend so much time with will hurt you in the long run. Like, it's going to like chip away. Like, every day, maybe like within the scope of a day, it'll be like minor annoyance, you know, but imagine having to deal with that
every day,
every single day for months and months and years, whatever. It'll chip away at your self-esteem. It'll, self-worth, especially because the red flag for me is that she brings up a concern, or her roommate says that she gets offended.
Did we like establish their she's? Just making sure.
I'm assuming because it's Miss.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought, but
I don't know what the roommate, if the roommate's a male or female.
Yeah.
But yeah, male or female, that's pretty toxic.
Yeah,
that's not something you should have to put up with unless, again, you're contractually or financially bound to it. Just find reasons not to be around her or him, your roommate.
Yeah, and I'm sure we both agree it's not your fault that you went into this roommate agreement with this person. You probably didn't know this person until you actually moved in, and you're like, okay, this person is, is terrible for me, kind of thing. But after that, it's done. Just leave. And Gerald said that, get out, go meet people you like. And that might be a little hard because you said you were extra introverted, right?
Well, I guess what I meant was go hang out with people you already do like. Like, if I'm assuming, I'm assuming they have friends, right, that they do enjoy. Because I've been in that situation where I'm fairly introverted, and I'm not as open as other people, but I've had people like try to pry into, like, hey, what's going on in your life? I'm like, I'm flattered that you're asking, but I do get uncomfortable with after a certain level.
Yeah.
And luckily when I brought it up, they were nice about it. They weren't like, hey, go to therapy.
Yeah. Like, what is
like,
that
who says that?
And you have to live with this person every day.
Yeah. I would just find every reason not to be in the house until I go to sleep. Like, even if you have to say hi, bye, then whatever, do that. But if you don't have to, just be like, going to bed, bye. Yeah.
But it just feels like I think that's good too, but it just feels like she is avoiding, because she's paying rent or whatever. She has every right to be where she is, but then now we're finding reasons to like her to be not where she wants to be, right? Just go outside. But I mean, like, she has every right to be home.
That's true. But
right?
I mean, it depends what's more important, right? If you want to enjoy your space, then I guess. But if you're what's worth more to you is being away from her roommate, then be away from your roommate.
I mean, if your roommate's extra extroverted, I mean, they should be going out doing whatever they want to do, right? You should be the one staying home, and they should be the one going out. But then it doesn't work out nicely, right, as we say. Easier said than done.
At this point, you can't really kick the roommate out either, because They're
They have
paying
every
for the
right.
rent, whatever.
Just feels like that roommate's kicking you out. That's just what I feel like. And
a
again,
good
that's
point.
not really right too.
That's a good point.
But what Gerald said is correct. You know, go out, meet people, and even if you like doing things alone, which is fine, like reading a book or drawing or whatever you like doing alone, you can do that outside.
Yeah.
I mean, weather's better now, depending on where you live. But if you're in North America, it's summertime. You can go out, get some inspiration, get a nice breeze, get the sun inside your body. So, right?
I mean,
There's other ways, but you're asking how to be cordial. Just honestly, just say hi, bye. Just do what you're doing now. I think you're doing a good job.
don't feel obligated to. At the end of the day, you don't owe this person anything, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, half the rent, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, like if you don't need to be mean, don't be mean, but like make it known that you need your space. But I'm assuming that conversation has happened and has not been respected.
Yeah, by go to therapy.
Go to therapy. Like, honestly, best case scenario, you move out, find a new roommate.
Or live by yourself. As an introvert, that's probably the best for you. Just live by yourself. Like, I'm not an introvert. I don't consider myself, but I do like my own alone time.
Yeah. I think everyone does to a certain level, right? Yeah.
Unless you're super extroverted like that person.
The roommate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
just needs to be around people.
Yeah, and that's probably why that person's bugging you.
Yeah.
Because they won't want to be around people. But I've never seen anybody really that just doesn't want their own alone time.
Yeah.
But
it's worth its weight in gold, in my opinion. But that's just me. I told you I'm a pretty introverted guy.
You're kind of mixed. I would personally, but you know yourself better than I do. But I know I'm more extroverted than introverted. Yeah. But again, I do like my time alone.
If you, this is going off topic now, but like if you will know when I'm all recharged, because then I'm talking, right? But then after a certain point, I'm just on the couch. I'm just like lying back, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's the point of introvert, right? You get tired when you're around people.
Exactly.
And then
recharge your batteries when you're alone.
Yeah, and then extrovert, you get energy from other people.
Yep.
Yes, people are different.
Cool.
If you have friends too, just go to their house.
Yeah, right?
Right? You don't have to bring them over to your house.
But then I guess if that wasn't a problem, then, or sorry, if going to other people's houses was something acceptable in an introvert's mind, then this wouldn't be as much of a problem. But then if you're tired, you want to be alone if you're an introvert, right?
But Gerald kind of said like pretty much wrapped it up fully. Being cordial, hi, bye. Just do that.
Do what you're doing. And if they bother you, just be like, hey, sorry, I need space.
They're just like, oh, I'm busy.
Yeah, I'm busy.
You don't owe them anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's fine. I was hoping it works out. Hopefully that contract that we're remaining isn't long.
Yeah. And hopefully, I guess best case scenario, your roommate starts to respect your boundaries. That would be the best case right now.
Yeah, for however long, but I'm sure you still want to get out anyway once it's all over. And next time, I guess more like, I guess that's kind of a worry too, though, right? Like if you know what this person is, you know exactly what's expected. But then once you go to a new person, you have no idea how this person's going to act. That's true. So you have your pros and cons for everything. This person could be perfect, but this person could also be worse. That new roommate could be worse or better.
Yeah.
Now at this point, you're tossing the dice, and if you're okay with this person being that, at least you know that that's what you're expecting. Yeah. But this person still needs to respect your boundaries, and you know. You guys are roommates. You guys aren't family or whatever. Just roommates. You guys aren't friends. You guys are just two people that happen to live in the same space. Yeah. Right. So this person should definitely respect you, and tell this person that. And I'm sure you did. And if that's not working, just do exactly what you're doing. Just be cordial. Hi, bye, blah blah blah, and then just cut it short.
Yep. Until your lease ends.
Until your lease ends. Yeah. And you either can keep that person or throw the dice and hopefully you get someone better.
Yeah. That's tough because then it's forcing your hand, right? You have to live there. Yeah. Whatever. Kind of sucks that people are like that. That unfortunately those kinds of people exist that don't respect boundaries, But what do you do?
It is what it is. Is that all the concerns for today?
Yeah, that was all three. For today.
We're on episode 6. That concludes episode 6, eh?
We're 6 episodes in a month and a half now of doing this.
Yeah, I guess so. Because we're
doing this weekly, right?
Yeah, weekly. Man, well, again, thanks everyone for tuning in and listening to our podcast. We really appreciate it. If you have your own worries, concerns, or problems that you want addressed, or just want a third-party opinion on what people think, don't hesitate to give us an email at givesometous@gmail.com. Again, it's just givesometous@gmail.com. We'll read it over. Again, give us details if you like. Don't obviously go overboard, but we'll read it over and we'll see if it's we want to talk about it and see what give our opinions on it, and then hopefully you show up on our podcast. But again, Thank you very much for showing up every Thursdays, which we release an episode every week. But any last final words? Should we wrap up actually before we end up here?
Let's put a button on everything. First one was I scare people, but I don't want to.
Small changes will lead to big changes.
Yep, this is true. Change a little bit. If it's just your first impression you're worried about, change a little bit of your clothing, your facial hair if you have any, and just your smiling to other people, whether or not you're smiling to other people, makes a difference.
Second one,
the best side hustle. Why don't you take care of that one?
Second, just find what you enjoy, what your side hustle wants to be. Just don't get upset and don't bring yourself down if your side hustle doesn't grow the fast as you want to, and then find some happiness and pros within your job now.
Yeah.
So you don't just, get all depressed because both your side hustle and your main job isn't working the way you want to.
Burning you out, yeah.
Right. Find the pros. Think about the happy thoughts instead of the negatives.
Last one is how do you remain cordial with someone you hate?
I personally wouldn't, but now you're forced to live with this person.
Yeah.
So do what you're doing. Say hi, bye. Right. If you hate this person, like I said, I would get out as soon as possible, but you might be under contract obligations. So then just stay until it's done.
As an introvert, you only have so much social energy you can spend. Spend it on the things you want to spend it on.
Yeah. Live your life the way you want to, not the way someone else wants you to.
There you go. Cool. Thanks for listening, everybody. And
Awesome.
remember, always stay kind to each other.
Thank you.